Welcome to Authentic Ecstasy Podcast, a place where we explore our innate intimate freedom. And today we're going to go into the third episode, which is exploring feminine power. And I'm here with Shivagam. Hello, welcome back.
Hello, I'm happy to be back and speak about the feminine power.
So welcome back to the Soul Sanctuary. What is feminine power? And I'd like to ask you to define us as far as you can see.
Always defining the feminine or masculine power is so huge that I feel that it's always short, whatever I can say. But I would say that the feminine power is the power of knowledge. The masculine power is the power of doing things. The feminine power, it's about knowing how to. But why is the feminine power the wisdom? Because the feminine power is the ability to go through experiences. It's the ability to be vulnerable, to be open. And when we are open, we allow everything to come in. And it's the only way to learn. When we allow experiences, everything to come to us, we hear them, we pay attention to them, we allow us to feel. Then we gain the wisdom. But if we are closed and we don't allow ourselves to go through experiences to feel, then how would I know how life works? So one of the most important things that I find in the feminine power is that ability of listening. Just shut up and listen. And listening, it's like being a container where you are passive, you are receiving, you are keeping everything. And that allows you to gain that wisdom and then be able to differentiate, okay, of everything that I heard, I'm taking this and I'm rejecting that. So it's all about feeling, it's about sensibility, it's about love, and keeping all of that inside you. And that brings that kind of wisdom, that knowing how to build stuff, how to manage stuff, how to connect with people. A life without the feminine power, it's like living a gray life. It's like, bleh. But with the feminine power, there is love, there is passion, there is color, there is life. We feel alive. So that it's a bunch of things that I feel that the feminine power is.
And the first thing I like to say about feminine power is been so repressed for so long. That is why the masculine power has been so distorted, because you can't separate them. It's like splitting the atom. You got Hiroshima, it's part of the discovery. But we are in this process of seeing it through. And the truth is that we are just at the beginning. Because I always say, like, if we want to repress something, it's because we're afraid of. So in the male dominant society, the oppression of nature, animals, women, it's the action that we were talking about, the need, because we fear it. And I feel it is feared. It is feared because it's the unknown. And it's enormous. Not only it just evokes everything, phenomena, and is ever-changing. Now, ever-changing. I mean, you talk about experience. Oh yeah, I'm having this experience. And we just look, of course, for pleasurable experiences. We're not equipped to feel non-pleasure experiences, So we associate the feminine power with the erotic, with pleasure, with sensuality. With love. Oh, no. No. It's much bigger than that. It's like absolute entering the world of the unpredictable chaos, death, I would say the archetype, because I bring women to feel the different archetypal nature of this feminine power. And the first is the earth, the mother, the ground, that devours you down, that takes you into death and into birth. Like the womb in women, it's like birth, a tomb and a cradle. It's the beginning of life. It's the wound and the womb and the tomb. So there is a lot there to feel. And we've been ill-equipped. So we are all repressing it and we're all fearing it. So we need to take it easily, and we are. Because when we repress something, if we just let it out, it just will be tremendous. And in a way, what we're experiencing now, the power without the wisdom, without that capacity to observe, to listen, to feel, to integrate, to hold, to let it gestate, to give birth to it. Without that, then we have the world that we live today, economic, ecological crisis at every level. We have all the technology, we have all the little gadgets, but we don't have the way of using it, the inner strength, the inner wisdom. So we would say that what we were talking in the last episode, and we ended with that, which is the outer. You know, I want to be loved and I need recognized for me to assert my will. And you said, no, you need to accept yourself. But that's not there yet. We are learning. So the feminine will be the inner capacity to hold what for now is unholdable. Not to hold it like this, but to hold it like a river moves through. Because feelings are water, feeling flow changes. And feeling that without the mind putting a sticker, oh, this is rage, or this is vulnerability, or this is that, and I've done it. You know, I'm feeling grief. Done. No. Collectively, to feel the grief of the losses, to feel the rage, the outrage of our blocked will, it's a process that we are all doing in our own way. And it's emerging. And I feel that one of the biggest power when you learn to feel and flow, I call this word intimacy. Intimacy is the alchemical field. One of the words I use for feminine power, one of the power of the feminine is the capacity to enter intimacy when you are able to feel and flow. And intimacy is like a field, an alchemical field. So you can put base metals, it's like, that's what alchemia was. That's why it's always presented with the masculine feminine. You put base metal and they transform into gold. So all that which we don't want to feel, all that we're afraid, all that is inherited and personal and that we defend through that distorted masculine power by avoidance, by resistance. If we can develop the feminine power and enter more and more the field of intimacy, which at the moment is restricted to, and that would be when we enter the episode on relationship, to a significant other that I exclude from the mass, and I'm going to be safe, and you're going to just treat me in the way that you're not going to make me feel anything uncomfortable, please. And then we're going to just put a candle and take our clothes off, and we're having intimacy. That is such a distorted view. Because yes, when we're having physical intimacy, we produce life. It's alchemical. We exchange substances, but that doesn't have to be restricted and it's being limited. And not only that it happens in the act, because usually it doesn't, because both people need to be able to be in the field. Exactly. So being in that field, we are at the beginning. And the first thing I want to say is intimacy is not sex. It's not looking romantic into somebody's eyes and putting a candle and say, I love you, baby. That is not intimacy.
That is one small aspect, but it's not the whole intimacy.
The whole intimacy. So it's like in English, there is this way of playing with words, which is intimacy. Intimacy. So intimacy, I let you see my inner world, which is my feminine power, which is where I get the wisdom and the knowledge.
That is what I discovered, not only in my personal growth of empowering that feminine power, but also as a teacher. That is the thing that I find more difficult to inspire and to teach, because there are two things that I find that it's the biggest resistance with the feminine power. It's about accepting to be vulnerable, and healing once for all the belief that the feminine power is about weakness. And teaching about the difference between being vulnerable and being weak, where weakness is whatever is happening has more power than me. I go through a heartbreak, or I go through any kind of problem, and that problem, it's so much bigger than me. So now I feel weak, I feel destroyed, and now I don't know what to do. It's about making people understand, if you have feeling, you are not weak, you are vulnerable. So many people that tell me that they are afraid of being in love or falling in love with someone or opening their heart. Why are you afraid of? That is passion. That is where intimacy can happen. I'm not talking only about relationship. How many fathers are unable to look at their kid and say, baby, I love you. I'm lucky I had a father that used to telling me, I love you every single day. I'm so lucky to have a father like this. But it's not the common thing. People are so afraid of just saying, this is what I'm going through. And it's not only the beautiful. That intimacy, it's also daring to say, at this moment, I am hurt. I'm going through a disappointment. I'm going through an anger or a sadness. That it's also that part of that intimacy. No? In that intimacy is where connection happens. Is where we can really connect. No? Sometimes there is people that tell me, Shivagam, why do I feel that I have a problem connecting with people? I'm good at speaking, I'm social, I'm an extrovert person, but I'm missing that feeling of connecting. And my answer is, you are missing the feminine power. Because that intimacy is what happens when you have that feminine power.
And one of the things I want to say to all of us is this power of what is being restricted, which is the inner world, the feeling of being able, when you were saying about, I am going through a breakthrough or whatever, I don't know how to feel it, so I'm going to go into weakness. And if I'm going to be seen weak, so I'm not going to have power. So at the moment, and that's why it's difficult to say, I love you, because that means that I might takes me into opening. There's a lot of unfelt feelings, but we were talking about the masculine. Now I'm going to feel them all, I'm going to lose my power. And many men have said that, to me, it's like, or they've fallen in love and then they stop performing in their lives because they're accessing vulnerability. Exactly. But the other aspect, not another aspect, there's so many aspects. And I feel in this episode, because we're going to bring this feminine power through other episodes, it's going to be just touching on what we define feminine power. It's the fear that we have to look into each other's eyes. Because when we look into each other's eyes, we stop obstructing. We're always obstructing. Distorted masculine without feminine. We're defending our vulnerability. And if I look into your eyes undefended, I'm going to be feeling you. And there is many levels here. I'm going to feel that we are one, the oneness that we are, manifesting in different, and that's scary. And that's the inner world. And I can't hold all of that. So I avoid eye contact, unless if I'm saying something intellectually, we're busy filling it up with words. And I would like to invite, so for the ones who are listening to this podcast on the feminine, to begin to look at yourself in the mirror, in the eyes of the mirror, and to see that beauty, not what you look like, because that's another thing associated, like also love, feminine love. And for me, love is an obstructed feeling. That's what it is. When you cease to obstruct, boom, love is there. It is love, is what holds us.
Exactly.
So to look into the eyes of the mirror and then to begin to feel safe and look into the eyes of somebody who feels safe and to not talk and to just breathe and allow that space and to see what's that like. Because then you'll have to breathe the impact of the power of the other evokes in you. And your own projections into that male or female or dog or whatever it is that you're looking is safer with animals and nature, obviously.
Of course.
And so it's a good practice.
It is.
It's a good practice, and it's a very simple practice, and very quiet. You don't have to, I'm going to start feeling everything. No, that's...
Yeah, you allow the experience to come as it is.
Yes. And it just the eye contact. And yeah, so a lot more on that on when we go into the world of relationship with our lovers. With this the place where apparently we take our armor out a little bit more and we share. And what happens there with this distorted masculine feminine program that we carry, and how it bursts open there.
What you said, it's like taking that feminine power outside, like relating from the feminine power. But then there is also how to conquer inside.
Yeah.
And for me, it's about considering, how do I feel when I am loved? Do I allow myself to be loved? Do I allow myself to be taken care of? Because there is so many people that are so good at taking care of others, but when it's their turn to be taken care of, it's like, oh no, I don't deserve it. Oh no, that is way too much for me. Oh no, I cannot accept it.
Oh, I'm going to feel weak.
Or I'm going to feel weak. Exactly. I don't need help. I can manage myself. I don't need a man in my life. Yeah, I agree that you don't need a man or a woman in your life. But if help is coming, why would you reject it? If love is coming, why would you reject it? I'm the first, not the first, but I'm one of those teaching about you have to love yourself and stop expectation that love will come from outside. But when love happened to come from outside, why would we reject it? So how vulnerable I am to open myself and allow myself to be treated. Sometimes I say to my students, practice, very human practice, go to get a massage. As simple as that. Well, probably you know that, but people cannot imagine how afraid people are of going to get a massage. Because that is vulnerability. That is delivering your body to the massages.
And that you don't even know.
That you don't even know. And that you are going to be not completely naked, but almost. And you have no control. That experience is one of the ones that helped me to empower with the feminine power, because I wouldn't allow myself to get a massage. I felt so uncomfortable. That was the breaking point for me. So I said to people, you have to be open. For me, that's also part of that feminine power, to be vulnerable, to open your heart and to accept and let yourself be loved.
Well, you got two practices here. That you get a massage, not bad, and begin to gaze with the world and see how it impacts inside you, and to be able to breathe and to be able to have a rich inner life. And we're not finished here. We have finished this chapter, this episode, and we're going to come back for another episode on
freedom from family.
Freedom from family. Wow.
That is going to be interesting.
That's going to take a lot of power. So thank you for being here with us, with all of us, and bringing your wisdom is really enjoyable. And let's continue.
Let's continue.